This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. Interviewing musicians, comedians, sports personalities, and many, many other individuals all over the world, sharing their story of encouragement, inspiration, what they've been through, what they've gone through, as well as amazing musicians from all over the world. Kick back and relax. For some amazing people you probably have never heard of and their story. Each of us have a story of hope, of courageousness, of inspiration. This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one-on-one podcast. It's always about encouraging others.
This is Gino Joubert, Time for a Change.
Remembering when we were young and wild and free, collection of thoughts and sweet memories. If I could change the ways of the world, make it a better place to live, bring back peace and unity, stop the killings and brutalities. I think it's time for a change. I think it's time. I think it's time. I think it's time for a Well, so much has changed since 1983. We're locking our doors, no longer safe on the streets. If I could change the ways of the world, make it a better place to live, bring back peace and unity, stop the killings and brutalities. I think it's time for a change. I think it's time. I think it's time. I think it's time for a change. I think it's time for a
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chit and Chat, the encouraging one other podcast. I'm your host, Jody Sheffield. I'm so glad to have you back for another fun, exciting, uplifting time of conversation and always amazing music. I truly believe this is one of the most unique podcasts out there. I love meeting people from all over the world, hearing their story of who's encouraged them, who's inspired them, and every episode you'll find brand new guests and amazing music by artists from all over the world. So no matter where you're at, stuck in traffic, on the way to work, taking the kiddos to many activities, football, cheerleading, soccer. Perhaps you're out running errands, and maybe you're on a road trip. I am a big fan of road trips. I love to hit the road, find some hole-in-the-wall diner, order me a big greasy burger, and find me a cool waterfall, and get away from the business of life. So, join the podcast when you're taking a road trip and hear amazing stories by incredible people from all over the world. So, thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time, please subscribe and follow to the podcast. If you're unable to listen to an entire episode, come on back and finish off where you left off. I'm so excited today to announce that this podcast can now be heard on Total Mix Radio, a radio station in Virginia. They're in all 50 states and 75 countries, playing the best music of all genres. Please check them out and crank them up today. Total Mix Radio, it rocks. Today, I have some great tunes for you. And one I'm playing is called Time for Change. I'll be sharing about the artist here in just a second. Other ones, it's Corey Coons from Canada, his song called Another Lonely Heart. And I love playing music by Sunday and Mr. Gessel. Their music just takes you back to another place, another time. I'm playing their song, Seems Like Old Times. My guest today is the writer for Time for Change. His name is Gino Joubert, and he, for a while there, until 2007, he played in a band for quite a while. And his rapid rise within the indie music scene is a testament to his dedication and his passion to his craft. And he's a member of the ISSA, the International Singer-Songwriter Association. Excited to pick his brain a little bit, hear more about his story and his music. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chit and Chat Encouraging One Another podcast, Mr. Gino Joubert.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chit and Chat, the Encouraging One Another podcast. I'm speaking with the legend, Mr. Gino Joubert. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you for having me, Jody. I appreciate that.
I'm excited about this opportunity, kind of hear about you, your journey throughout the musical career, and I'm sharing one of your songs as well. But you know what? Before I dive into fun conversations, I love picking the brains of my guest, and with a few icebreaker questions. You got your thinking cap on?
I got mine on.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready. So if you could wake up tomorrow with one skill that you don't have, a brand new skill, either speaking Spanish or be a chef, what would it be?
Ooh, how to become invisible.
Poof! That's awesome.
You can hear me, but you can't see me.
I did not expect that one. That's pretty good, actually. That's funny. Number two, if you had your own talk show, you could invite anyone anyone on your show as a guest, any three people, living, past or present, what would your three guests be on your show?
Do I get three, you said?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, it'd have to be David Gilmour and Rick Wright from Pink Floyd, because that's who influenced me to get into music. I would have to say maybe Nikola Tesla, because I'd want to learn all the things that he knew about free energy. And then I guess the third one would be, that's tough. My higher self from the future right now.
All right. That'd be a good little conversation, a talk show with Gino Joubert and guest. Which decade of music do you love the most? 60s, 70s, 80s? Do you have a preference of a decade you really love that genre of music?
I'd say, okay, I always have to be different. When people say choose black or white, I pick some color in between, but I'd say somewhere between 75 to 85 or 77 to 87, something like that.
Okay. And number four, if Mount Rushmore had four musicians instead of presidents, what four musicians would you pick and why?
All right, David Gilmour, because I consider him, there's an old saying, keep it simple, stupid, or less is more. And he wasn't like a Eddie Van Halen type. He was just the opposite. He could say so much by doing so little. On like it was just the bending and phrasing of his play that I always felt like every single note was just perfect. So I would go with him. The second one, oh, Guy, you asked me a tough question. I don't normally get stumped like this. So when you have me speechless, congratulations, sir. Let's see. David Gilmour, I would probably have to go with some great keyboardist of all time. So, and there's so many of those. Let's just say for grins and giggles right now, I'm thinking maybe Ray Manzarek.
Okay. Any more?
Yeah, let me think of who the other two would be. I guess I would go with Eddie Van Halen just because he was a pioneer with changing not just the style of play, but he basically did a lot of alterations to a guitar that he had to basically it's custom and he made it custom. So the ingenuity that went into that and how I guess if he wasn't afraid if he messed up because that's how the best inventions come about by just not being fearful.
Got one more left. Who you going with?
Oh wow, this is so tough. Well, I can tell you who it's not. It won't be Liberace, I promise. So let's see.
How about the opposite? Elvis Presley or Jimi Hendrix?
No,
Johnny
no,
Cash?
because too many people would already pick those. So
All right.
I would have to go. I guess I would go with Bob Marley.
Okay. That's a good little foursome there. For those out there who don't know who you are, would you mind giving a little brief bio on who Gino Joubert is?
Shit, let me know when I find out, because I'll tell you then. But I'm a work in progress. How about that? No, my dad was into music, although he never taught me one note, and that's a true story.
Wow.
He played sax in a legendary R&B and rock band in New Orleans, and he went to school with Dr. John, and they used to compete all the time in the battle of the bands. But I kind of got a late start. I didn't learn music as a kid, but I knew at a young age one day I would play piano and keys. I don't know how I knew, but I just knew. So after I started teaching myself how to play, then I got involved in some rock bands in and around New Orleans. Then I moved to Atlanta, and then I found a real good band there that I joined, and we were doing really well with original tunes. And then the band broke up behind the song Love Triangle actually became one within the band, and it was just all kind of craziness and madness. So I call it my self-fulfilling prophecy song. So after that happened, I was so dismayed by it all because really it was like we had such great chemistry, but something, stupid like a woman, I hate to say it like that, but that caused it to break up. And so I was dispirited. And then about 3 years ago, I said, you know what? I know I can write. I know I can do this. I can do that. Let me get back into it. But this is the fourth quarter now. So I got to go headstrong, dead calm, and dead right. Let's get it with everything but wrong, So I ended up coming out hard and just started getting in the studio. I started finding musicians that I thought could give me the right pieces to my style of playing. And sure enough, everything started coming out, and just luckily, with a lot of push, got well received by several different people that are notable in the industry, I guess you could say.
Let's go back a little bit. Where were you born and raised?
Well, Leon Everett did a song called Hurricane, and it says born and raised on a Poncha train underneath the Louisiana moon.
Okay.
So that would be it. I wasn't really born in New Orleans, but I was here at 2 weeks old. Okay. I just happened to be a preemie. So, but I'll say I was born in New Orleans for all intents and purposes. Spent most of my young years in Louisiana, but by the time I was 20, I was off and running and seeing the world. I just had that adventurous spirit.
I've been down in Louisiana. I've been a long, long time. I've never been to New Orleans. What's a good? Off subject for a sec. I'm getting hungry. What's a good place to eat in New Orleans? What's a good food? Seafood or what?
Everywhere, just about everywhere. You can't go wrong. Like, it just depends on like what mood are you in. Like, if you're in the mood for like Cajun food, I mean, it's really good at just about everywhere.
Mm,
There's no lie, you know. Um, and so really, I don't have a favorites because I like variety. So I'll go
oh
to a
yeah.
lot of, but I'm hardly ever disappointed. So if you need a name, I'll say like if somebody's inside the French Quarter, they may want to stop at Cafe Maspero. If they're uptown, they may want to go to Camellia Grill, or they may want to get a Ferdy at a place that's been around forever in the Irish Channel.
Mm,
It's just things like that.
okay. Do you recall the first time you got on stage to sing a song, and how old were you? What song did you sing? A little history about that first time on stage.
I was 22 and I did Comfortably Numb, and I was nervous for about the first 5 minutes, and then after that, I was like, "Oh, this is a piece of cake." But that's just a blessing because I know a lot of people struggle with that,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't. I guess I just have entertainer running through my veins, and
Okay.
that's just a lucky gift, you know.
And you and I have something in common. We were both in the military. Share about your military experience a little bit.
Oh, this is going to be the shortest part of the interview. I didn't like it. I got out.
Dude, thanks for joining. Have a good night. Thank you.
I went in, I got out. All right, what's the next question?
Yeah, I did 4 years and got out. I'm with you. Yeah, I did my time, said the 7 C's, and I'm like, I'm good. Thank you.
But
Yeah.
no, actually, I will give the listeners a little treat there. So I started out after boot camp and everything. I ended up on a ship in Virginia, and then from there, we wasn't on the ship long, and we had to go to Philadelphia to dry docks. Well, that enabled me to see Pink Floyd for the first time live. And looking back, I'm glad I did because a lot of people look back and say, "God, that's one band I wish I could have saw."
Hmm.
That's I don't have no problem because I did see him. But here's one for you. So if it wasn't for me being in the military and seeing them like that, there's a good chance I wouldn't have a backup vocals from Durga McBrome from Pink Floyd on Time for a Change, which just won Single of the Year at the ISO Awards.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
um, there you go.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was on the ship, USS Truxton back in the days, 89, 93. So yeah, I saw the 7 C's and like, I want to do something else. Much respect to
Yeah,
everybody in the
I,
military.
I'm too much of a free spirit to have too many people think just because they have some kind of ranking that they're better than me, or because I don't look at it. Look, we all know something that somebody else doesn't know. So I don't think anybody's better. They're just different, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm. I was reading about your bio a little bit. You kind of went through a tough spell after the band broke up, went into a little bit of depression. How'd you get through that? What are some ways you battled through that?
Well, that's a good question, actually. So in my journey personally, I've always sought out truth, and I sought out to become a better version of me through time. Now, it was a slow starter. I didn't get on a little bus, but I proverbially rode on one in my mind for a long time. So I had to evolve personally. And so after going within, it's kind of like I went to Tibet without going to Tibet and discovered myself, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm. So,
And after I did that and found out who I was, then it was like, okay, now I'm at peace. I don't have to hold on to something forever. I can actually drop it off if it doesn't serve a good purpose in my life.
hmm when you returned to the music scene in 2020, you've been seeing a lot of recognition and praise for your work, that heart, the dedication you put into it. How did that feel for you?
Um, I don't want to sound like Bob Marley or Jimi Hendrix, but at the end of the day, I mean, awards are nice, but those type of flatteries, To me, the biggest flattery in music is somebody singing my song, my lyrics.
Mm.
That's the biggest flattery to me, you know. So I don't get all really nostalgic over awards or things like that, but it's nice to know. Like you, I tell you what, it's weird. Let me just be really honest. So I'm a dude. Like I don't know what it's like. Like that fine girl in the room, she's always getting hit on and always being told she's beautiful. But when you start hearing that as a singer, it's like kind of wild because I'm not used to that. I didn't hear that growing up like the pretty girl in the class, you know. So it was one of those things like, oh, now I think I understand what they go through, you know.
Right. Yeah, I saw one of the accomplishments was a video of the month on Tune Derby. Can you share about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I put in one It's crazy. I'm good with one nomination. So this is my first year with ISA and for the Josie Awards, and I've already and first time I ever submitted to Tune Derby, and Tune Derby came back. They sent me a check and a trophy and said you won first place and for Hamster Wheel. So what I like is I actually have 4 different songs that have gotten some type of recognition or acclaim, and out of a 6-song drop, that's pretty good batting average, I guess. You
Yeah,
know.
that's pretty good. I follow a lot of musicians on the ISSA, the International Singer Summer Association. I saw you in a very dapper suit. How many suits do you have? You look like Mr. GQ on there. You look pretty spiffy.
Well, you know what? I just got lucky. I went into Tuxedos to Go in Metairie, and there it was. It just jumped out and it called me, and I was like, yeah, it's the one, you know. But it just pure luck. That was pure luck, and that's the only tuxedo I own. So it's not like I have 20 of them or like a Liberace collection, you know. So I don't have that.
Well, we just let my listeners know, get a little feedback on the interview because you're on a cruise, Alaskan cruise, right?
Man, I am, and we just pulled into our first city port today, which is in Sitka, Alaska.
Okay.
And the backdrop and the scenery is just beautiful.
That's awesome.
But moreover, I just left New Orleans, and it's triple-digit temperatures, and you
Yep.
can walk from your front door to your car, and somebody will swear you just came in from the rain. But so this is a welcome relief, brother.
My parents were from Arkansas for a week visiting here in Washington State, and they're like, it's 106 degrees. I'm like, it's only 85 here in Washington. Now it's like 75. That's great.
Yeah. 85 feels like 75, 100 feels like 120. Go figure, you know?
Hey, during your career, did you have some people in your life who really encouraged you, maybe inspired you to kind of just keep on pushing, especially when you face some challenges and difficulties?
You know, I really can't say that I did. My biggest struggle was dealing with self-doubt for the longest time. And so once I got out of my own way, that's what it took from me. Now, had I had some coaches or trainers or teachers along the way, that, you know, we could possibly have a different storyline there.
And do you feel it's important to collaborate with other artists and especially young up and coming musicians and helping them hone their skills to be better in their careers?
Absolutely. Collaboration's a beautiful thing. In fact, I've already experimented with using 2 different producers. And when someone asked me, well, if this guy, you know, because the first producer did Time for a Change and Love Triangle, and I love both those songs. But imagine, if you will, having a box of 8 crayons, and then over here you got a box with 40 crayons. When you collaborate with different musicians or a whole bunch of different musicians, it's like having that pack of 40. You have so many more things you can do. So you can experiment with different colors, shapes, and sounds, you know?
In this podcast episode, I'm playing your song "Time for a Change." You mind sharing about that song a little bit? How it came about?
Ooh, so I wrote that song. It, I wrote that song in 1992 and didn't release it until 2 years ago.
Wow.
And I guess it was self-fulfilling prophecy for me. It was time for me to change, right? But contemporaneously, it also is befitting to the society and world in which we live because there's so much violence, there's so much hate, there's so much opinionation where everything's used as a divisive tool. And if everything's dividing us, then we cannot fulfill our best possible outcomes through collaboration and, peace and kindness. So,
Yeah. That's a very, very powerful song and a great, great timing for sure. What are some of the challenges you faced along your musical journey that you just, in your head, you're like, I gotta keep going. I can't quit. I love music. I love sharing my gift, helping others. Some challenges you faced.
a lot of it has just been budgetary because it's money out, but not a whole lot coming in, and that's another travesty that we have within this industry. Is 0.004 cents a stream. That's no way to make a living. And the people that maybe do a billion streams, well, it's the market is cornered and controlled by so few people like the world is, and therein lies the problem, the rub.
Any other projects you're working on currently, or are you kind of enjoying some R&R?
No, just for this week, it's going to be R&R. Then next week, it's back to grinding again. But yeah, I do actually have another song that I'm working on, and this one's going to be a lot different than my other ones because I'm going to play in the harmonic background more. So I'm going to add more layers in the vocals. So that'll expand that to me. I just love harmonies, man. So it improves the depth the more harmonics you add to any, whether vocal or even instrument.
This podcast is all about encouraging others and sharing words of encouragement. Anything you want to pass on to a musician, maybe up and coming, maybe who's kind of a little timid to getting on stage and sharing their gift. Any words of wisdom from Gino?
Absolutely. So always get out there and find other musicians. It's not a competition. In fact, you can offer a service. Think of it like your time, well, look, man, if you like my style of play, let me give you some of my time and you give me some of your time and we can help each other. Also, you find some groups that you kind of synergistically can feel compatible with. You can kind of experience the journey together and y'all can better get gigs and things like that. So that is the number one thing that I would recommend. Number two, if you have any self-doubt, the longer you hold on to it, the longer it's going to hold you back. Just say, to hell with it. I know if I spend time on this every day, like any other trade or craft, I can't help but get better. Start believing that and quit believing the lie.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you have a website people can follow you and kind of check all the music out you have out as well?
Actually, I do have a website, but I'm doing some construction on it right now. I want to revamp it.
Okay.
But that's at GinoJoubert.com. But I'm on all these streaming services, YouTube, Spotify, iHeart, all that.
And I saw you noticed that this podcast is now going to be on radio, Total Mix Radio. I'm so excited to get with James and share this on his radio station. So I'm pretty excited for this podcast getting out all over the world and sharing encouragement.
I am too, because I think y'all are about to open up a Pandora's box of a plethora of opportunities, to not just for yourself, but also for the artists that you'll now bring on board and the expanded listenership. So I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate your time, and I wish my wife wants to go on an Alaskan cruise one day, and who knows, but I wish you the best in all you do. Thank you for sharing a little bit about your history, and God bless, man. Thank you.
Hey, Jody, you're the best. I appreciate you too, man. Rock on.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
This is my good friend Corey M. Coons, Another Lonely Heart.
With the beating of a heart, we're risen from the sand and driven back to dust like seeds across the land. And knowledge once supposed from this earthly solid ground, withered down in time from every last account. No one's breaking it to me this time. It's the fight that I still descending from the light to release our debt in kind. No contention or dismay, leaving all our ties behind. You can walk away, but I can never be. It's the need that I still breathe, leave it all for us to see. Another lonely heart, no more I can take. We're living worlds apart, and all your life's a stage. Another lonely heart, no more I can take. Believing from the start, round and round again. I don't want to fall from the edge of the earth where I might get lost before my time. I don't want to live in a world of anger. Too much hate only feeds on fear. I don't want to hear about all the problems. Please, Lord, lead us in our destiny. 'Cause I just want to get away from it all. So we'll close the door and hide away. Another lonely heart, no more I can take. Believing from the start, round and round again. Another lonely heart, the dam's about to break. We're living worlds apart, round and round and round and round again. Another lonely heart, we're living worlds apart. Another lonely heart.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I'd like to welcome one of the newest sponsors to the podcast, Mr. Alex Pablo. He specializes in assisting small to medium-sized local family restaurants establishments in enhancing their brand, identify, and cultivate a strong business image. He provides a comprehensive support through the creation and maintenance of professional business website, menu design, printing services, as well as implementing an effective online ordering system. His objective is to empower these businesses to flourish and achieve sustained success and increased online sales in their respective markets. Check out aldentedigitals.com for more information. Are you craving donuts? I got a place for you to check out the most delicious donuts around. Come on down and check out my friends at Lone Star Donuts. They're a locally owned and operated business here in Kitsap County, and now they open their third location. They already had locations in Silverdale, Washington, Port Orchard, Washington, and now in Poulsbo, Washington, with over 50 kinds of donuts. I kid you not, 50 kinds of donuts. Many are filled, many are maple with bacon, real bacon, not that fake bacon. And now they have clutches. I had no idea what these were, but they're like a yeasty pastry with kielbasa in them, and they're so, so good. Check them out on Facebook, Lone Star Donuts. Their 3 locations are in Silverdale at 1087 Maury Place. Our number is 360-204-5021. In Port Orchard at 2649 Mile Hill Drive. Our number there is 360-443-2600. And now in Poulsbo at 21505 Marketplace, Suite 102.
We all know you cannot buy happiness, but you can buy donuts. That's basically the same thing, right? Stop by and check out my friends at Lone Star Donuts. You can find them on Facebook as well. Lone Star Donuts, the best tasting donuts around. Something about listening to this group just takes you back years ago, the 30s and 40s and maybe the 50s. And this song, Seems Like Old Times, is just that song. This is Sunday Mr. Gessel, Seems Like Old Times.
Seems like old times having you to talk with. Seems like old times having you to walk with, and it's still a thrill just to have my arms around you. Oh, still the thrill that it was the day I found you. Seems like old times, dinner dates and flowers, just like old times, staying up all hours, making dreams come true, doing things that we used to do. Seems like old times being here with you. Seems like old times, dinner dates and flowers, oh, just like old times, staying up all hours, making dreams come true, doing things that we used to do. Seems like old times being here with you.
Just takes you back, doesn't it? We'll return to the Chin Chan and Encourage You One Other podcast after these messages.
When I say barbecue, does your mouth just start to water? Barbecue. Well, I got the place for you to go check out, right? Double D's, Barbecue and Smokery. They got the best tasting ribs, dry rub ribs, and the meat just literally fell off the bone the last plate I had. Delicious. Also, they have pulled brisket, pulled pork, sides like bacon, macaroni, and cheese. coleslaw, beans, and cream corn with green chilies. Little kick, delicious. And a dessert, banana pudding. That's right, banana pudding. Where can you find that at, right? See, Brett and Don, the owners of Double D's, are both strong military veterans. They have found a home here in the Pacific Northwest, and their roots range from Texas to North Carolina and everywhere in between. They bring their amazing flavors to their ribs and their food truck, which is a catering business as well. You can reach them at 360-960-9093. They're on Facebook, Instagram. That's right, Double D's, Barbecue and Smokery, delicious tasting ribs and barbecue. You got it. Check them out.
Are you craving some authentic, fresh Mexican food? I am. I want to tell you about two businesses here in Silverdale, Washington. They're both locally owned and operated. They got some of the best tasting Mexican food around. The first one is Tequila Street. They're a local food truck located at 9571 Silverdale Way in Silverdale, Washington. They got some best tasting breakfast burritos you'll ever find, including the Breakfast Tex Burrito, the Breakfast California Burrito, the Breakfast Ultimate Burrito, and my favorite, the Barbecue Pork Burrito. Delicious. They also add items like tacos, burritos, and other great tasting items. Call and place your order today. Go out and pick it up at 360-914-9152. That's at Tequila Street. Also, at the Kids That Mall, Tequila. They have 5 kinds of tacos there. That's right, 5, including burritos, taquitos, taco salads, and my favorite, grilled jalapenos. Yummy. And many, many more delicious items. Also, on Taco Tuesdays, tacos are 50% off. That's right, 50% off. Where can you find that deal, right? Call and place your order today at 360-698-4335 or head over to the website at tequizatacoshop.com and get some more great tasting, authentic Mexican food at Tequila, located at the Kitsap Mall. Their number again is 360-698-4335. Thank you for joining today on the Chin Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. But my guest was Gino Joubert. Kind of shared about his story a little bit, what he's been through, what he's gone through, some challenges he's faced. He's up there in Alaska right now on a cruise, enjoying some R&R. And he is putting out some amazing music and sharing one of his songs on this podcast called Time for Change. And it's very, very fun talking with him. We had a couple of phone issues, but you know what? He's on a cruise. It's okay. And it's a fun time talking to Gino. Also, thank you to Raymond Hayden for his music. He allows me to share and is a very gifted instrumentalist and singer-songwriter as well. I love sharing his music as well. Thank you to Corey Coons. His website is coreycoons.com, and his being a Canadian musician, very, very gifted as well. And also thank you to Sunday and Mr. Gussel. Their website is sundayandmrgussel.com. It's Goessl. Their music kind of transforms you to another place. It's really, I love listening to their music. This podcast now can be heard on totalmixradio.org, and it's a great radio station, different genres of music, all kinds of classic, oldies of country, and I'm proud to be part of this amazing radio station that's in 50 states, saved by countries, getting this podcast out to anyone and everyone. And check out their amazing radio station and their different genres of music, and just really, really fun radio station. That's Total Mix Radio. It rocks there at Total Mix Radio. Please subscribe and follow to the podcast. And it's always uplifting and fun conversations with people from all over the world, sharing encouragement. Have a great day. Thanks for joining. Until next time, this is Chit Chat, the encouraging one other podcast. What's always about encouraging others. This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one other podcast.
It's always about encouraging others.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.